hell of an intro. I tell you what you info, but I never really been the type of dude to give no info.
Welcome to the Walking Girl Show, everyone. It's Roney and Courtney on the mic. And Courtney, what you got for us today? Because, we were talking about something offline, and we just knew we had to do this immediately because of the topic. And I guess it's a trend. So, yeah, I'll let you take it away and describe this little thing that whoever put it out in the world did it. But it's a real thing. Go ahead.
We know Ronnie's feelings about TikTok. So when I brought a TikTok trend to his attention, it's like, oh, here we go. But then I explained it and he loved it. So, well, he liked how I explained it. But anyway, so there was a TikTok trend. We're pretty behind in terms of it being a trend, but it was the lucky girl syndrome is what I wanted to talk about. So on TikTok, the way it was described was basically, it's all about self-talk. It's all about, nowadays it's mantras and affirmations and positive self-talk, all these things. And so that's what it's about. That's what it comes down to is people experiencing that, things just work out. Things just have been not easy, but like things just kind of go okay. Things tend to work out in my life. And is it just because I'm lucky? Is it just because I'm lucky? Like, what is it? And some people just never get lucky. Some people never, have the same fortune that I do. So what they were kind of discussing is when we have these positive mantras, when we have these affirmations, or just improve the way that we talk to ourselves, the words that we use, the language that we use in our minds, things tend to work out more often than not, or more often than they used to prior to having this positive language. So that's what we were talking about. I think it's something that we've referred to a lot in different episodes is like the impact of language and the impact of self-talk. We've talked about self-love, all these different things. So we've definitely referred to it before, but I think talking about it specifically and really understanding why this is important it's a big deal.
And I feel like right now there's someone listening that's just like, I call bull crap, right? I don't know why. I just feel like there's always that one individual who's just like has no idea what we're talking about because one, they either have a terrible way of talking to themselves, or two, they just don't acknowledge when good things happen, that they don't realize that this is something that you've said already. I tell my friends all the time, the life that you're living right now is what you dreamed about 5-10 years ago. You just don't recall the moment that you wished upon it, right? So it's be careful what you say, be careful what you think about, and even the words that you say. That's why we're taking the music, right? How often is it that we hear a lyric said by an artist, and I mean, I'm not going to say what I want to say because I understand the power of words, but something just happens to that artist, right? It's just listen to the lyrics, for God's sake. God, you guys are listening. I forgot who said it. It was like the tongue is I think it's LL Cool J in one of his songs. He was like, the tongue is a powerful word, or a powerful thing, something. I don't remember exactly what it was. My bad. But it was, people are, I guess, starting to realize it more and more and more, and being a little bit more conscious of it, which I think you should be, because again, what you put into your world is your world. So you better get ready to deal with it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think people have an understanding of how powerful our brains are, right? We know how incredible the brain is. We know how much stuff it does without us asking it to, right? It's just constantly working. So why is it that language can't change the way that we feel? Why is it that, right? So it's like people understand how much work the brain does and how incredible it can be, but then when we talk about topics like this, it's like, why can't that be true? Right? If that language can change the way that we feel, and so on and so forth. So the way that I explain it, should I do my table analogy?
You can. I mean, if that's going to help anybody.
So the way that I explain it doesn't have to be a table, but I try to kind of break it down to understand. So when we were growing up, when we're babies, right? When we're learning language, since that tends to, there's a gnat in my house. When we're learning language, right? Our brains are constantly seeking information, constantly building new information, constantly basically wanting to prove us correct. We want to be right about the things that we're thinking. So when we're babies, when we're toddlers, whatever, and we're learning language, we have to prove, like, wait, I learned this word. I'm pretty sure this word is correct. So the one that I use, because I'm sitting at one, is a table. How do we know something is a table? How do we define something as a table, right? So I can look at it and say, well, it has legs. It's made out of whatever, it, whatever it's made out of, whatever materials it's made out of. It's flat. We put stuff on it. We eat at it, whatever it is, right? Our brain has all these different things that prove it to be true. So the way that I always draw this out. So in my head, because I'm not drawing it, I'm like, wait a second. So what we call it is targets and channels. So the target itself is the thought. So this is a table. All the channels are, it has legs,
associated with
it is flat, it's made out of this, we eat, all things like that. So we can build lots of channels that prove it to be true. So when you wake up in the morning and you say, I don't want to do today. Today's going to suck. You just created a target. You created a target in your brain. And now
I'm going to pause you really quickly. Sorry.
Okay.
That's the first thing that you say to yourself? Holy crap. You just woke up. And the first thing you said is today's going to be the worst day. But God,
what is the first thing you say to yourself in the morning? Truly.
Thank God I woke up today. Are you serious? That's literally the first thing. Yeah, absolutely. That is thank you God for waking me up today.
I'm laughing because I'm not as positive. So I'm not today's going to be the worst, but I can tell you, I was just thinking about this. So as some people may know, I started a new workout program where I need to wake up at 5 a.m. 4 times a week. And that is not my favorite thing whatsoever. Not my favorite thing. So I love the workouts. I hate the waking up. When I swear, I was laughing at myself recently. That's why I asked. The first thing I think of in the morning is, when will my nap be? Like, I swear, literally, my first thought is like, when is the next time I get to sleep? I will wake up and be like, if I get this workout done fast enough, I should probably have like 15 to 30 minutes. I can come home and take a nap, and then I can shower and then go to work. Or like, literally, I will plan my nap so fast. It'll be, my alarm goes off at 5. I am planning my nap at 5 a.m. and 30 seconds. Like, it's immediate. So I just thought that was funny. I was like, I wonder if other people do this when they initially wake up. But anyway, so it's not negative. It's just, I'm really just focusing on sleep for the first like 20 minutes when I'm waking up. But anyway, either way, whatever thought you are thinking when you first wake up, you're creating a target. And because your brain wants to prove that you're right, because your brain wants to prove that whatever we're thinking is true or correct, you're going to look for channels, whether you like it or not. Your brain is going to automatically look for channels. Same thing where if you think of the thought, I'm hungry, what's going to happen? Everything, you smell everything's going to remind you of food. You're going to remember that one stupid commercial or jingle or whatever that's stuck in your head. You can't drive past any restaurants or any fast food places, right? Everything, because our brain, when we have a thought, your brain wants to prove it to be true. So it's like, yeah, see, is constantly, and that's why we say, like, if you're thinking about a yellow car,
you're gonna see them everywhere.
How many yellow cars do you think you're gonna see? Versus now that I'm thinking about it, they're all over the place, right? That just goes to show, like, we've all had these types of experiences, but we weren't looking for them. So I'm so glad I just thought of this, because I wasn't.
If you haven't had those experiences, if you haven't had that experience where you're thinking about a car, or somebody just tells you like that's their favorite car, or that's the car that they want, and then you start seeing the damn thing everywhere, try it. Just try it. What's your dream car? Just think about what's your dream car, and I want you to think about it intentionally. It's like, okay, well, this is my dream car because of this and this and this. All right, great. Now I guarantee you're gonna see it. When? Who knows? But you're going to see it, and you're going to see it more than you've ever seen it before, because now you're aware. Thoughts become things. That's essentially what's happening here. So I hope you remember what you were going to say.
Yes, I do. So I can't believe I saw this video, and I actually wanted to lead with this, but I forgot all about it. So I'm glad it popped up. So this video on Instagram is really what kind of like got me excited about the topic again. It's something that I talk about all the time, but the way that they did it in this video, I was like, yes, it's perfect. So What he said was, I want you to look around the room and find all of the things that are brown.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I share that or repost it?
I
So
don't
look
know.
all around the room and see all the things that are brown. Okay, so you're gonna look around, whatever, you're
Yeah.
gonna find everything. And then come back to me and I'm gonna say, now tell me everything that's red.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're gonna
Are you
say
gonna
not a damn thing because your motherfucker, your ass wasn't looking for it.
So all you were really seeing, right? We
Yeah.
look around the room. I was talking to my parents. My dad was asking where the box, the electric. I sound
Yep. The
so
electro
intelligent right
panel
now.
is, yeah, yeah.
How many times have I seen it in my house and I do not know where it is? Right? I've seen it over and over and over again, but in my head I'm like, I don't, because I wasn't in my brain, I wasn't like, yes, this is where the
This is
location is,
right.
right? I live in this house. I'm here every day. But it's just these things that like how do we, if our brains didn't work that way, we would never lose things, right? We would just know where everything is, but we are only focused on whatever it is that we're focused on. So we get to choose what we're focused on.
Yeah.
And in that video, they were saying the same thing. So he was like, we're talking about things that are brown. Were there a couple things that were maybe tan that you wanted to say were brown just to be right? And he was like, yeah, there's a couple things over there that are beige that I was like, I'm going to include it, right? So we want to be right so bad. And not that it's us doing it, it's just our brain like, I need this information. I'm pulling this information too. It's close, so I'm going to pull that in as well. So again, if you wake up with that thought, today's going to be a bad day, today's not my day, today's going to suck, whatever it is, you are going to find those channels. You're going to, there's so many different posts about like getting your belt loop stuck on the door handle or something like that. And it's like just the worst days that happens. People say that if you have it in your head that it's the worst day, we're going to find ways to make it the worst day, right? And you are going to prove that to yourself one way or another. It's going to be the days where you're stuck in traffic. It's going to be the days where you spill your coffee, right?
Where you're late to work. Like,
exactly.
Everything.
Yeah. So you are going to, your brain, whatever target you create is going to find channels to prove yourself right. So the way that we combat that, the way that we do the opposite.
Before we talk about how we combat it, I want everyone, and this is a gem that I've learned from someone, spend 30 minutes. If you want to do it a day, great. If you want to do it every other day, whatever. Just spend 30 minutes, go on YouTube, and look up The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. And you will literally understand that this is something that it's not coming out of our brains or our mouths. This is something that was in the works, in the conversations before I was even thought about. All right. So this is well before my time that this is a real thing. This is not just something that we're making up because we've experienced it. No, it's also we have experienced it, but I've also heard it from many individuals before my time speak upon it. So again, Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret, go listen to it. And he talks a lot about what we're talking about here today. If you really want to dive deep into it and create a target for yourself, because there's one part in it that he says, if you get on a boat with no destination, where are you going? You're going to go nowhere. And you're probably going to be in the middle of the ocean for God knows how long, right? Whereas every time you get on a cruise ship, you're going to go somewhere. You get on a flight, right? There is a destination. So therefore, there's your target, right? You have a point A to a point B. And he just kind of explains it because, I mean, someone that doesn't know where they're going, they're just going in circles at that point. But
so when you create a target in your brain, that's where you're going, whether you like it or not.
Bingo.
Yeah. Another thing that I was thinking about, and we might kind of sort of be talking about the same thing, but there's a lot of videos, all sorts of stuff on the law of attraction. Yeah. Which is the same thing. One. Like, yeah. So whatever you put out is what you're going to attract back to you. So yeah, the law of attraction is huge as well. When I was in college, when I first heard about that, we actually heard about that in our sports psychology class. Shout out to Charlie Sullivan. He was teaching us the law of attraction. He was like, so when you go into a parking lot, do you drive up to the front, or are you like, it's not even going to work? It's not even worth it. I'm not even going to get a close spot. And he was like, because if you drive up with that mindset, you're never going to get it. He was like, I want all of you to drive to the front of the parking lot and see. And so we would come back to class and be like, I got the second spot in the hall. And we're in a college campus, so the lots, are so long leading up to the building. And So it's just so funny people coming back and be like, I got this spot today. It's just thinking about if you put it out into the universe, and of course things like that you can't always control. But today what we're talking about is our moods, right? And having a good day and positive things happening to you. So yeah, we're talking about combating that.
Combating. Yep.
So that's all I was going to say is coming up with positive targets. And I'm not saying today is going to be the best day ever. This is going to be, and there's always going to be those people out there that are like, okay, I'm going to get $1 million today. I'm going to win the lottery. And it's like, but again, we're not talking about things that we have actually no control over. We're talking about having a good day. Do you have control over making your day a good day? Yes. There's going to be things that we experience. There's going to be things in our lives that are not what we're looking for, but we control our emotions and we control how we react to it. And we're not talking about major events. We're talking about spilling your coffee. We're talking about, like we said, getting stuck in traffic. We control the way that we react to those things and how much we let it affect our day. And our positive self-talk, so on and so forth, is something that we can absolutely use as a tool. Yep. Another thing I just wanted to share that I think can be a good tool that we just went over again at work, and I think it's helpful, is since we're talking so much about the brain today, your brain actually only on its own will focus on an emotion or will feel an emotion for 90 seconds. Your brain only has the capacity to feel that for 90 seconds. So how long do we typically feel emotions? 90 seconds?
I mean,
could you imagine?
I wish.
I'm more of like 90 minutes plus another 90 minutes.
I mean, sometimes it could be days. I mean, it depends on the situation.
Absolutely. And like I said, we're not talking about major events. We're not talking about losing loved ones. We're not nothing like that. But what I'm saying is, if there's an inconvenience, let's talk about traffic. I always bring up traffic because it's my least favorite thing, but my least favorite silly thing, right? So if I'm angry, I'm only truly angry for 90 seconds. So if I'm angry for longer than that, that's because I am continuing to be angry. I'm saying, this is so annoying. This is so frustrating. Why can't people drive? Why can't people this, right? And that is creating the next target for the next 90 seconds. And then I say another thing, that's another for the next 90 seconds, right? So you are adding 90 seconds each time you decide to continue. So we really only have that 90 seconds, and that's one way to look at it is and I've heard it all over social media, I've heard it in therapy, so on and so forth. Are you having a bad day? Or are you having I actually heard T-Pain say it, and I was like, yes. I do this all the time. Are you having a bad day? Or are you having a bad 5 minutes that you let ruin your whole day? And again, it is
mic drop.
Here's the therapist saying it's okay to feel your emotions. Again, if there's things that are bothering you, it's okay to feel them. It is okay to process them. It's okay to cry. It's okay to take that time. But you get to decide which ones are worthy of taking up your time, are worthy of stressing you out, are worthy of, being that kind of damper for you. Where these other things, these other spilling your coffee, these other inconveniences, those are the ones where we're like, you know what? You get 90 seconds of my time. That's it. After that, we're not worrying about it again. And you get that power. We get to decide what bothers us for 91 seconds plus.
I think we fail as humans to remember that we are in control of not everything, but just about everything, right? And it starts with what we put out into the world, what we think, what we say to ourselves, how we decide to feel, how we decide to speak to others. I mean, what we've heard the sayings again, what goes around comes around, right? These are all real things. So, don't do bad things, and bad things won't come back and bite you, in the rear.
Well, and if you're feeling better, all these things are going to reduce your stress because you're feeling better overall. If you're feeling better overall, feeling less stressed, feeling less anxious, you're automatically. So we've talked a lot about what is filling you up, right? Whatever fills you up is what's going to spill out of you. We've had that conversation before. So if you're full of positivity, if you're full of just calmness, if you're full of peace, that's what's going to spill out of you. You're not going to be rude to others because that's not what you're full of. That's not what's inside of you. But if you're stressed and having a bad day and talking negatively to yourself, when something does happen, that's what's going to spill out of you. And you're going to end up talking negatively to other people. So I think if you just kind of follow the pieces, making sure your targets are positive, then everything is going to fall into place.
And it could be a difficult task, right? Nothing in life is easy. So start with the small conversations to yourself in the morning when you wake up and go to brush your teeth, right? Instead of saying, "Oh, another day," right? Hey, why don't you say, "Hell, thank God, another day," right? You know, just that one shift of adding a word in between can change everything. So till next time, keep on applying those perspectives, education, growth, and collaboration.